Do we have it? Yep. We do. Okay. Do we have a couple people tuned in?
Yes, people are tuning in.
Excellent. Hi, guys. So sorry. We're running super late today. So if you could please let Paul know that you can hear me okay, that would be helpful. How's everybody? We are going to be doing things a little bit differently tonight. So we are in the beautiful, excellent, thank you. So right now we are in Cape Cod and Salem, checking out some business opportunities, and I decided to try something different for this week's show. What I want to do is split up the horoscopes from the Ask Ivy, where I take your questions. So you can start posting your questions. So as soon as we start the show tonight, we're going to start taking whatever your personal or spiritual questions are. Please do include names of anyone you're referring to, living or deceased. And if you're asking about a pet, that counts. Also, if you're asking about something like your job, if you could include the name of the company that you're referring to. A lot of people have been asking questions because they're starting their own businesses. Give me the name of that business that you're starting, even if that's not set in stone, okay? That'll speed up the process. While we wait for a few people to tune in here, I do want to explain that your weekly horoscopes for Monday, July 20th to Monday, July 27th are going up tonight. So check those out, and please do hit that bell if you're a subscriber here, and I do invite everyone to please like and subscribe and share. But you can get the updates as we post new videos if you click that bell. So stay informed on what is going on. We do have a couple upcoming free mini classes, part of the quarantine series. As the quarantine has extended, I have also decided to extend on these classes. So we have What Are They Hiding? Coming up on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern with Q&A. This class is about the physical cues that your body gives you, indicating what it is that someone is deliberately trying to hide from you. We have another one coming up called Why Mediumship, for those of you who were planning on tuning in. When were we supposed to be doing that?
16th.
The 16th, we had some technical difficulties here on the road, so we rescheduled for the 30th, okay? So also at 9 p.m. Eastern. Why mediumship? How learning this lost language heals your life and the world around you. I hope that you tune in for that, especially if you're debating on taking the psychic mediumship course here for the fall semester. Now that does start on October 7th, and there are only 10 seats left available if you want to do the Pathway 2. So check out registration there. Do you have questions coming in?
We've got some questions coming in.
Okay, very good. Keep the questions coming. We also have one more announcement. Okay, protester and activist empathic awareness training for anti-burnout. If you're a protester, if you're into activism right now, this is an extremely volatile time. It is also a time showing great promise, and we do not want to miss any opportunities to create real reform and lasting change. So this class is going to help you with strategic planning using your intuition. It's going to help you with self-protection, as all of my empathic trainings do. And it's going to help you with long-term endurance. So check that out on the 31st. And we do have special pricing for that. It's already like half price or less. There's special group pricing. And if you really can't afford to give this, it's really more like a donation than a cost, you can contact Paul and he will set you up. We want every protester and activist in this training for the long haul. All right, we ready to get started?
Yeah, it's looking good.
Very good. I do want to invite everyone to please join us alongside the Anti-Defamation League and the NAACP for the Stop Hate for Profit campaign. We have pulled all funding to Facebook and Instagram for the month of July and beyond if we need to. That is my main source of advertising. So me being small fish, a small business and ministry, I would really appreciate your support for this movement. We want to stop the hate speech, the racism, the voter suppression that Facebook and Instagram have been supporting all of these years once and for all. So you can support us in that fight by sharing this video, by subscribing here, and by going on to my other social media accounts and sharing that information. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium and a Taino airwalk. This is the Ask Ivy show where I'm taking your personal and spiritual questions. Paul, my adorable assistant, how are you, Paul?
Very lovely, thanks. How are you?
Good, aka my producer, will be taking your questions here as he sees fit, so please do be patient. And if you have already asked a question, give your neighbor a turn. What do we want to start with?
Let's start with this one from Alexandria.
Okay.
She says, I am currently pursuing modeling/music entertainment. I would like to know if you see any transitions for me regarding that.
I saw almost like a dance video, so it's very possible that there's some commercial work coming up here within the next it's possible it'll come as soon as 2 to 3 weeks, but I was feeling especially like 3 to 4 months, and then again at the 6th month out from now. There could also be talk of things brewing around 5 months out from now. And I saw something that looked like a music video. So I don't know that you're into dance per se, but we may see some possibilities there too, where you can either be in the background, or it's almost like there's some choreographed thing that you do entering into the scene and being the focus, but not necessarily having to talk or say a lot. There's someone else that's focused on, and it's almost like if we had background dancers or something, you would be the focus of those background people. So I do see potential work coming up. I think that you need to expand out a little bit more, meaning, get your portfolio out there, your resume, any work experience that you have had. Show up to, maybe more auditions, and make sure that you're really, it's almost like your work and money guide talks about how maybe you don't really fully understand that there are some other areas that you've not looked into, or you feel like I can't do that, or that's not really my forte. I think you could extend out into some different, types of, especially like this dancing look. You don't have to be on Broadway. You don't have to be, what do they call those? What are those rocket ladies?
The Rockettes?
You don't have to be like a rocket to get on and do a little spin and maybe pull a little something out of your pocket there, to get some work. And I think that while it can be some uncharted territory and a little nerve-wracking, I think it's actually going to work out in your favor. So, yeah.
Rocket ladies.
The rocket ladies. That was a little before my time, I think.
It's very good. Okay, we have one from TK who said thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Also, Vanessa said she loves the backdrop here, the brick wall.
Oh, yeah, we're at a hotel with a brick wall, so this is a setup for tonight.
Sometimes you win.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so TK asks, Hi Ivy, can you share if there are any messages from my spirit or angels regarding love or career?
Regarding love or career, I would highly recommend that you take the Meet Your Guides class up on my website, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. It will teach you to tap in with your guides every single day. There should not be a morning when you wake up with your coffee where you don't sit with your guides for about 10 to 20 minutes and get them to tell you every day what you should expect to have, coming up. In regards to, did he say my career?
She did, yes.
She say, okay.
Love or career?
Love or career? I'm getting career. I'm hearing that you're coming into a power position. So this is coming from your work and money guide. I'm also hearing from your Akashic record guide, who watches over your past lives. Your Akashic isn't going to pop up all the time unless you're in a point in your life where a past life that has unfinished business or something you've accomplished in that past life can be applied to where you are right now to get you up to the next level. And what I'm feeling with that is that we're looking at a situation where you're becoming the power player. And I think even if you were feeling a little bit like you were treading water, you wanted to quit, you were feeling like maybe you weren't on the right path, I feel this working out well for you. And I think that you're going to have two different breakthroughs that are somehow connected. So they could sort of look like the same thing, but they're really not. And they are, one feels more like a lateral move and the other one feels like an actual level up. So we could be looking at an increase in income and all of that too. Now, what your Akashic guide is talking about here is that you have a past life that you're tapping into at this point. And in this past life, and there is an Asian reference here, so yeah, it looks to me like you would have been in some kind of a power position. I feel that you were also wealthy. You may have been in a leadership position where you were like a boss. You were directing and telling people what to do. And I feel that you're going to be incorporating that leadership position, telling people what to do, telling things where to go. But also, one of the things you did not learn in that life is how to be at peace. So I would not be surprised if in this life you're very drawn to anything from Asia, if you're very drawn to, what are those plants that they have a special name for them now? They almost look rubbery. And they're like cactus, really.
Oh,
you know,
succulents?
Yeah, like succulents. And I see these almost like cactus looking like plants. I think that what you never accomplished in that life was letting go of the hustle and knowing how to be centered and tapping in a little bit more to your humanitarian side with your workers and things like this, and that money is not the end all be all. So you're sort of combining that leadership with that humble position, that rooted and grounded position as you go forward. And if you can accomplish that, you could check that right off of your life contract, and that's an awesome thing. Okay, then you're finishing up on that life and on to the next big lesson. Looks good.
Very good. It's a great reading. We have one from Terry who asks, do you see me ever moving away from New York?
Well, it's certainly a possibility. It's giving me a headache, though. I feel like where you are right now is giving you a headache. And I feel like my jaw is very, very tight. It's very possible that in your stay here, well, I'm not there now, but, you know, in your stay in New York, it's very possible that you've been feeling like you weren't being heard, or you have trouble speaking your truth, or it's causing a lot of stress, even TMJ, can't prescribe or diagnose, or like grinding your teeth at night and things like this. You seem to carry a lot of tension. I also get a lot of pressure in my head, and it makes me feel like you're overthinking things. It also feels to me like sometimes you're having trouble with judgment calls, either with your work or your money or situations related to your residency in New York. So my general feeling here is that it would be easy for you to move. I think that something like Pennsylvania, or, you know, just not even a huge move away, can make a ton of difference. So it's almost like you don't have to go far to reap the benefits in a major way of what a new location can offer for you. And I do feel like the West might come up for you, but I also feel like I'm looking at Florida or possibly like South Carolina or something like that. Okay, so it's very possible that you have multiple options here. There is no 100% right or wrong answer to this. I would have to look at some of the locations and addresses that you're thinking of to get more exact. In general, though, I do feel like your time in New York is pretty much up. And when we start to feel like we no longer have roots in a place, it's because the prosperity is being blocked, and we start to actually have mental and emotional and physical symptoms from being there that aren't so pleasant. I do feel that with you. I'd hit the road.
Heck yeah.
You know what's funny too? Let me just add this, because Paul and I were just talking about this morning. You know, it's funny how sometimes you feel like, I gotta go. I don't even know what to say. I have to leave. I don't belong here anymore. Or I at least have to take a vacation. I at least have to just leave. And it's funny that when you hit the road and you get a certain distance away from the location that's causing you the problems, you just feel like a totally different person. You know, your insight opens up, your health, your well-being just lifts. It's going to be fascinating for you.
Sure, yeah. TK said, thank you again. I needed that with a hot. And Charisse says that she missed us. She saw the fried ice cream you posted.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Thanks you for all you do, and God bless your ministry. So.
Thank you very much. Yes, both of you. You're welcome.
Okay, we have one from Myra.
Okay.
Or Mayra. I'm not sure which.
With a Y?
Yes,
okay.
Mayra. Do you have a message from my dad or brothers who passed? And then dad to brothers would be Luis, Mitch, or Henry.
Your father comes through with a big smile and a hug and is a very supportive, kind of back patter, this guy. And I feel that one of your brothers was bigger, than the other one. And he's kind of a little bit sillier and kind of sensitive. He has this very sweet side to him. The other one feels a little squirrelier and thinner, or like more, toned, wiry. And I feel like they're all about what you're doing, and it's almost like moving your stuff around. I see the one brother who's thinner, literally moving your things. So if this hasn't been something you've noticed yet, pay attention. I feel your paperwork being moved. So I don't know if you were just trying to pay bills or some kind of contracts or something. They look like bills or not fun paperwork. He says, like, not the kind of thing you want to be doing for pleasure's sake. But it's almost like things being shifted around. And I feel that there's talk of, I feel like somebody had a dog. There's talk of a dog, and there's talk of them being with the dog seeing them. Your brother, who's a little bit more sensitive, makes me feel like he's visiting you in dreams. He says too. And there could have even been something, a dream, pay attention if you haven't had it yet, coming up, connected to water. He's talking about pay attention to the symbolism in your dreams, okay? Because water is always going to be about either where you are in your life, how you feel your circumstances are, and it can also represent your emotions or cleansing. And he's with you, sort of riding that wave, okay, in life. And he said that even if things feel a little bit stormy right now, storms never last forever, that the sun is going to come out. Your father, who's a little bit more, I almost get sort of a stoic feel from him, a little bit more reserved and kind of quiet. I feel like his head's always going. It's like, even if the mouth isn't moving, my thoughts are always going. He is smoking a cigar for you, which can mean that he had a cancerous condition or he smoked. But if that doesn't make sense, it would be more symbolic. It could also be all of these, but it's symbolic of celebration for you. And the way he's smoking this cigar just makes me feel like, you know what you're doing. And don't second guess yourself. Stay on your path. Okay, stay on your path. I feel breakthroughs and cause for celebration here soon. I also feel like a new home. So whether it's like a new relationship and a new home or just a new home, I feel a brand new space for you and a lot of happiness in two. So I'm not thinking this is as soon as 2 months. This might be out over the course of the next 2 years, but it's almost like getting there to that place. And he's celebrating. He says your grandmother is also here. She may have been a Spitfire. They have a lot to say. They will never stop. So I'm going to, a ton of love to you.
That's awesome. Terry said, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We have one from an Aquarius Yazzie.
Okay.
It says, I hope you are doing well. Will I have a child with O or someone new?
Well, you have 3 different options, and that probably sounds a little, trashy, but the reality of the situation is this. Sometimes we meet up with people on this planet just to bring children through. That can often be confused with things like soulmate connection or twin flame connection, or karmic contract. And really, it's just to bring the child through. So a child can sign on to you and someone else. A child can also exclusively really sign on to you, which would mean that there would be a donor of some kind. So what I'm feeling is that with your kids, there are 3 separate potential parents that you could co-parent with, and she wants to know specifically about O or someone else. I think that there is a male child who would like to come in with you and O. I think that you have another option here, though, and I keep hearing almost like a Steve, and I don't know that that's the actual name, or if I'm just looking at the S, the T in the person's name. There is someone else that you could do this with. So it's not as simple as we sometimes think, but it's possible. Yeah, and what that means is that as long as the other circumstances are lined up, it could happen accidentally very easily. So I would be mindful of that. Lock it on up if you're not looking to do that right about now. Okay? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Love it. Mayra says, laughed and said, he's always playing jokes, and then gave you 5 hearts, and she said, thank you for making me cry. And yes, they're talkers for sure.
Oh my God, they are.
Yeah.
And they play off of each other. It's like ping pong. It's like all over the place.
And Aquarius Yazzie said, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And like a sunflower emoji also.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Everyone's very emoji friendly. It's great.
Good.
Okay, we have one. Hey, lady. Says, hi, Ivy and Paul. Woo. What message does Spirit have for me in regards to me starting my notary business?
We don't have a name? There's no name?
Well, it's a notary business.
On an account?
Like, hey, lady.
Oh, hey, lady is the person's name? Oh, I thought you were saying that to me.
Yeah, sorry. Yep.
I was like, hey. Oh, okay. So, hey, lady wants to know what I'm getting for her notary business?
Right.
She's starting a notary business. I actually feel oddly like, I don't know why I say oddly. I guess because I don't know that this would have been profitable prior to now, but it's almost like this is becoming more profitable. So if it's one of those random things people never think about, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we need this. We must have notaries, you know? I never thought about this in my life. And it doesn't look like it would have been a big thing in the past, but possibly due to COVID, I'm gonna have to go with pandemic issues. It's very possible that we're going to be looking at a real demand for this. And I think that whether we're talking about divorces or we're talking about how the purchase of real estate, commercial or residential, we're talking about different situations. I even see like boats, so I don't know why you would need just maybe legal, type documents. But I see boats, which can mean that people are looking at, doing things that are more recreational, taking their businesses up to the next level, or having to transfer in and out of spaces like that. The relationship, when we're talking about marriages or divorces, I see a lot of that, and that was the first thing to come through. And I think that the reason Spirit's bringing up these categories is because you might be able to kind of latch on to someone who does this. So it's very possible that if you knew someone who was like a divorce attorney, I don't know, or you knew someone who was a realtor, if you know people who do this and are always looking for a notary, it's almost like you can get in under their wing, their umbrella, and be there to play off of. So I think this could be very easy if you do it the right way. There's a lot of work coming, yes. And it's like right here. So that's like in the near future. I would say within the next 2 months, if you were to start this right about now, you would be seeing it pick up. Yeah.
Very good. That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, who thinks of that?
Nobody. And everybody needs it. That's
out of
awesome.
the box thinking.
Yep. Very good.
Very good.
Okay. Jill is wondering if her Papa Joe has any messages for her, and if he is around as much as she thinks he is.
He is. He's talking about popcorn. I don't know if you were just eating popcorn. I smell popcorn, or if you were eating snacks, if you eat snacks out of bowls, or there's just something he enjoys doing. But he jokingly goes in, he stole some popcorn, he stole some snacks. I feel like he's like a nibbler, It's almost like he eats like a bird, but he says, I eat like a pelican or something. It's almost like, constant, but in small amounts. And I feel like he's funny. I feel that he has this great heart about him where He wants to save you from any heartache. He wants to save you from any circumstance that could bring your energy down. He wants to prevent you from having to do things on your own, almost to a point of helicoptering sometimes. And, he's not allowed to, so he has to pull back and let you do things on your own. But he just wants you to know how much he's there for you. And I feel like even in the small things, it's not like there doesn't have to be a major life change for him to be there. He's definitely around. I also feel that he tries to get you to play with him more, and he wants you to stay playful. He wants you to have that banter going back and forth with him, so I would not be surprised if you get a lot of the ear ringing. A lot of people think they have tinnitus, and he puts thoughts in your head and songs. So pay attention to song lyrics, pay attention to the radio. I even hear, what are they, like nursery rhymes, You Are My Sunshine, and I'm seeing, I don't know if I'm looking at a tattoo, or if I'm looking at almost like a garden, but I'm seeing sunflowers and what looks to me like maybe like daisies, and I feel also like you're looking at some relationship stuff right now, and maybe kind of wondering how well balanced things are, and he's helping you with that to make sure you're getting what you deserve in your relationships. He loves you very much.
Very cool. Okay, we have one engraved scars.
Okay.
It says, she's wondering what advice the spirit guides have on what type of career she should go after. She's currently in retail and feels she's meant to leave and do something more meaningful to her.
Well, if we look at your life contract, what I'm feeling here is a passion for psychology or sociology or almost like psychiatry. I don't know if you see some, crazy activity go on that you find fascinating, but also a desire to help people, a desire to be a listening ear or counsel people. And I think that's the kind of thing you really have to have some training in, or you really have to put yourself in a position to be professional enough that people will come to you for that. And so I do feel that there's some training and education that would be required to get you to that place where you're comfortable with that. But I think that anything else that you do, you may feel is falling short. It's when you get to be that listening ear for people and you get to give that good advice that your spirit is fulfilled, your soul gets fulfilled. And so that is definitely a part of your life contract. And if you don't finish what's within your life contract, you would ultimately reincarnate and have to do it over again. So I would just start there and see where that leads you.
All right. We have one from Violet Goddess.
Okay.
It says, hello, are there any messages from my spirit guides regarding my love/relationship?
Is there a name? From Violet? Violet from your guides. This relationship feels to me like it's almost not a relationship, and what that can mean is that you're not getting the commitment that you want, or you're maybe even using a title of commitment, but the action isn't there. So it feels to me that you could find yourself tied up in situations right now, or even a pattern where you're not really getting anything long-term to work with. And my sense here is that this is time to do some self-examination, and they mention right through here. And so what that's going to mean is trusting your gut instinct. It's going to mean being willing to pass judgment on a situation or a person without putting on rose-colored glasses after, or negating it, or saying, well, I'll overlook it, or I need more proof. And it's about speaking and communicating your truth. So it goes up through your throat chakra. So you have found yourself in a situation where you are either not speaking your truth, or you are and it isn't being received. So that's sort of where they want you to focus. And with that getting cleared up, I think you have a better understanding about really who you are and what you feel your value is, and not being willing to settle on anything less than that. You know, sometimes we feel like we don't understand what's going on in our relationships, and it's really because we don't understand what's going on with ourselves. Don't look at that. Look in. Look in. What's going on there?
Too true. Okay, so we have Engraved Sky said, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Jill says, thank you so much. He's very playful and protective. I wear a ring he made every day. It's a silver spoon ring, and it's all flowers. I'm ending a 20-year relationship. So grateful for you, Hot, and prayer things.
There are your flowers. Love it.
There they are.
You're welcome.
All right. Charisse, who has been pointing out, I guess there's some gold glitching happening, and I checked it, I couldn't see it, so we'll have to see the replay. So, yeah, I think, I wonder when it popped up, whose spirit that was. She asks, what is this pain in my right foot?
Who is this?
Charisse.
Charisse, what is the pain in your right foot? Well, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but I'm feeling almost like a shooting. It's almost like a shooting pain in the muscles or the bones. I would almost compare it to. I can't remember the name of it, but there's some funny condition where between your toes the bones can become out of place, and it can actually pinch a nerve, and it can radiate like up the leg. I'm not sure what exactly it's called, but my feeling is that it could be something like that, where there's been some kind of movement. And so I can't say it's the bone exactly, and I can't say it's just the muscle. It's sort of like everything's being affected. And ultimately, it feels like the nerve is being triggered. My feeling with this is that you may need to do some stretches. And because I can't prescribe or diagnose, I would always say go to your physician, first. But my feeling is that we need to be doing some stretches like upward, which is the opposite of the way the foot moves, obviously. But to, especially with the outside part where we're getting into like your smaller toes, almost like up on a wall or something like that. It kind of has a feel almost like what do we call that? Plantar fasciitis, where things are getting tight somehow. So you might be overcompensating by walking on it funny now and needing to relax it. But yeah, I would go see somebody. It feels to me with this, like this could also be a sort of like a nagging resurgence. Like you get, it lessens and then it sort of flares up and comes back. So yeah.
It's Morton's neuroma.
Who knew that? This person deserves it.
I Googled it.
Oh, you Googled it. Oh, Morton's neuroma.
Morton's neuroma.
And I'm not saying it's that. I'm just saying that if you read those symptoms, it seems familiar to that. Yeah.
Violet Goddess said, thank you. Very true. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We have one from, let me click this. Sophia, who was looking for messages from her brother, Joseph.
Joseph?
Joseph Pulido.
He shows, I want to say that he communicates a lot through telepathy and something called clairaudience. So you may get ringing in your ears or feeling of pressure in your ears, and then he may be putting thoughts into your head. And when he comes and visits you in dreams and things like this, his mouth isn't going to move. He shows you lifting up a heavy load. And I feel that he may have been good with this. He may have been sort of stoic in some ways. He may have felt too like he was carrying a lot, or he may have been responsible to pick up a heavy load in life in such a way where it could look as though it can't be done. It could look insurmountable. But I feel that he's referencing you with this symbolically, talking about whatever load it is in life that you're trying to pick up right now and carry. He said, you're not carrying it alone. And don't forget that. Don't go through your day thinking that you are at any point, because it's when you start to get out at sea and feel like I'm on my own. Gee, I hope they're hearing me. Oh, I feel like I want to put out a prayer. That is not really the case. That's an illusion. So don't allow yourself to become so detached that you're kind of floating out at sea. in everything. Okay, he said, just talk to me in everything, talk to me all the time. And I feel like you do, but I don't always feel like you believe he's hearing you completely, or you're not receiving back. And so it should be a two-way street. I would highly recommend the Psychic Mediumship course to you. Learn the language. This is not that easy to do until you know the language, and then it is. But he's helping you through circumstances in your life that you sometimes feel are for you to carry. He also says that you take on more responsibility than what you should, because in some areas I feel like you're carrying stuff that isn't even your own. So be careful in your relationships that you're not crossing that line. You know, what is mine and what is others? What is your responsibility and what is not? Proper boundary setting, reciprocity, and delegate if you need to. Don't allow yourself to get burnt out. He loves you very much, and he's funny, but he's kind of like serious and then funny. Like he wants to make sure that gets out first, you know? He's very sweet.
Very cool. Okay. We have one from Shireen.
Okay.
This is for her daughter, Autumn.
Okay.
Her daughter wants to know how her relationship with Brandon is going to end.
Oh, it's ending. You know, I feel Brandon's a little possessive, and I get the sense that maybe he's a bit immature and almost obsessive. But it's funny because when I look at him, I see this very resigned, sort of, you know, comfortable, reserved. That's what I'm looking for. It's sort of reserved. And the energy is not really high vibration or loud in any way. It's this turn of events, and any turn of events that makes him feel rejected in any way, like a blow to the ego, or there's some type of conflict there surrounding abandonment issues. So I'm gonna have to go back to the parents on this one. There's also not a lot of structure, so it's very possible when I see someone without, you know, being raised without a lot of structure, we've either got like narcissistic, sociopathic tendencies due to being spoiled, or entitled, or from like neglect. Okay, so there's something not right, which is really the same thing, right? And I feel that he shifts from being this reserved individual with this quiet energy to this very loud, needy, sort of codependent or manipulative type of energy. So it's almost like a two-faced. And I think that that could be activated, and I think that it could sort of drag out a little creepily. How do I see it ending? I guess that's how I see it ending. I guess I would say this, you know, when you're dealing with people like that, and they're like crabgrass, they're like everywhere, and I swear to God, they're multiplying. You know, when you're dealing with people like this, you want to be cutthroat. I said goodbye, that's it, and it's sort of like no contact. Just at the tiniest spark of weirdness, just no contact. No contact is best. Because I feel like he would want to hang on to anything. Well, let's be friends. No, that's going to get manipulated. It's going to cause drama. So she needs to be direct.
Very good. That's great advice. Sophia said thank you so much. And Alexandria said thank you so much, Ivy. And then did two of the little dancing ladies. Two rocket girls.
Awesome.
No, they were the little, you know, like.
I know, the
flamenco,
Spanish girl.
Yeah. Okay. Destiny is asking, will I find employment soon?
Okay, I'm here before. Okay. Destiny, will I find employment soon? You know, it feels a little up and down for a while. I'm hearing 2, could be as soon as 2 weeks, but it might be out about 2 months. My feeling here is that there may be something that you are offered. There may be something that you get, and then it doesn't work out, whether it's an issue with the boss, or it's an issue with the company, or it's sort of like, wait a minute, that's not what I agreed to. There seems to be some kind of conflict, and I'm wondering if you just recently went through something like this, you know, too. So here's what I'm going to say to you. Sometimes when something's in arm's reach, we can manipulate it by using law of attraction and manifestation. I'm going to be putting up a free mini class here soon on that. But in the meantime, you know, I would really work at visualizing what it is that you want to have. Visualize the clothes you're wearing, visualize how you feel walking into that building, visualize what it feels like to get that money, how much money. Start being a little bit more particular, because right now you kind of have a like crumbs falling on the ground attitude, like I'll be happy to get anything, and that's exactly what you're going to attract. So let's be specific. It's coming, but I think you need to let the universe know exactly what it is that you want. Okay, good.
All right. Jamie Lynn says, "Hi guys.
Hi.
I haven't had my deceased friend Holly come through in readings. I'm wondering if she's okay, and I'd love to give her mom a message. Thank you as always."
Oh, okay. Well, she's definitely okay. She's a busy girl, and I feel that she's a little bit specific on the things that she talks about. So she's not the kind of person that's popping in and out all the time needlessly, or like just to say hello. I do feel that she has a strong leadership position on the other side and works a lot like a guide for people to help them through. What she's showing me with your life is that you're learning how to navigate waters that are sort of running in two different directions. And so you may feel like your life is being split, or like you're being pulled in two different directions, or like you are two different people, or it's sort of like the old way of life into the new way of life. And she shows a daisy growing up on the side of this river that's flowing in two different directions, which is interesting, okay? But a daisy is always symbolic of happiness. It's symbolic of joy and peace. And she's giving this to you. She's talking about you being comfortable in your own skin, and you being comfortable in the transitional phase that you're in right now, and just celebrating really who you are, because she's celebrating that. And that what's really happening is that you're sort of cleansing out the old way of your life. So whether that's old habits, old thoughts, old self-perceptions, old everything, I feel like you're letting it all wash away. And then the river comes back up this way, going in the opposite direction. And when that's happening, it is going faster, it is deeper, it has more fish, which are symbolic of prosperity. I see fish jumping. This is just all about your future going in the right direction, but you have to keep cleansing and letting go and not revisiting your past. Set boundaries, cord cut, and release. She's very, I almost would say, like, proud of you. Yeah. Oh, and a message for her mom. She was like, oh my God. Message for my mom. A message for my mom. I feel like she's giving mom a white rose, and that is always symbolic of healing needing to go on in the person's life, but it also feels to me like there may not have been a proper goodbye somehow. So she's trying to bring healing to that. She says that mom hears her. So I see mom laying in bed or dozing off, wherever she's dozing off, and she can hear her literally call her name. And she said, just know that it's me. Just listen for me and know that it's me. I saw her leaving little rocks, little stones as gifts, and butterflies, using winged animals and butterflies to let her know that she's around. She may be doing that with you too. She said, I'm ringing her phone. That kind of means she's ringing her ears, like the tinnitus. It can also mean she's messing with her technology. Okay?
Okay, very good. Julie asks, do you have any ideas of what my next steps are regarding moving on from a relationship, fully letting go of Eric?
And this is Julie?
Julie.
I'm going to recommend the Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting class to you. It's up on my website, ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com, and I would recommend the Reaching the One class, which is sort of like a part 2 to that. My feeling is that it was never going to be there with this person, and that's upsetting. That's upsetting to hear until you're really ready to let go, and then it's like, oh good, okay, oh good, that's all I needed to know. This is not the type of relationship that can be repaired in time and sort of come back around, for a round 2. Sometimes it's not the timing with people. Sometimes it's that people aren't ready yet, and it can come back around. But this is someone who is I want to say stubbornly moving in a different direction than you. This is someone who's possibly not moving much at all. And you want to see this as a blessing and what's coming for you. You do have a lady here who has very gray hair, almost like white hair. So I don't feel she colored it. And she said what's coming for you is going to be so much better, that in this relationship you were actually sad. Okay, and I want to see you happy, and it's not like somebody else gives you happiness. It's not like somebody else makes you happy. You have to make your own self happy. That's up to you. That's your job. No one's ever going to just make you happy. But this other person coming in can support you in sustaining that joy. And this person stole your joy, and that is just not. Grandma's not having that. Okay, so I think this is a blessing in disguise. Yes.
Okay, very good. We have one from Emily who's looking for some guidance here. She says, my life feels as though it suddenly went into a non-stop spiral. I keep telling myself it's due to the moon, but I'm starting to think it will never stop. Any guidance for her?
Is this in any specific area?
No, it seems like everything.
Is this Emily? Oh, a different Emily?
Different Emily.
So she said, my life is going in a spiral, non-stop, just around and around, and she's thinking it's the moon. I think that everybody is getting that right now, and it isn't necessarily a small planetary shift. We did a free mini class on here that you might want to check out called End Times, Are We There? And there were 3 of us on there. One was an astrologer. And we discussed the triggers that just occurred and how they are moving things at warp speed. And the karma is either ×2 or ×10 at this point. So what you're feeling is not a moon cycle or something simple. This is now permanent. And so you're very insightful to good for you, for tuning into that and asking real questions about that. We did a second class sort of branching off of that on here called High Vibration versus Low Vibration. And I brought that astrologer, Christina Del Rey, back on for that show. And we talked about planetary effects of 3 separate planets that are really maybe intense right now and that can cause for low-level energy to be an overwhelming influence. And so that may also help you. I think, though, part of what's going on with you, separate from all of that, just because you mentioned the moon, I think that one of the things you're doing and a lot of other people are doing that are called to light work, are called to be living a life of service, I think that you're feeling that everything is spinning out of control right now, because anything that you were doing that did not fulfill that light working part of your life contract is now null and void and being removed. And it will no longer feel stable. So light workers, calling all light workers. This is it. This is it. Figure out what you need to be doing with that. Yep.
Jamie Lynn said, yes, wow, thank you so much, Ivy. That was so beautiful.
Oh, good.
Hats and smiles, and I will tell her mom.
You're welcome. Good. Okay. All right, awesome, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, please do support us in the Stop Hate for Profit campaign by liking, sharing, and please do subscribe and click that bell because your horoscopes for this week are going up tonight. I will see you guys next Monday. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.